It's a 90-degree plug, so it actually just hangs down very neatly here. Ah, great. So I'm exiting off beach here. It's the next exit up, and we've just gotten to a slowdown, so we don't know what this is about. And my bike just died. Sometimes she does that. She's an old lady, she can. But yeah, that's like my biggest pet peeve about this particular setup. I mean, there's no way around it, but I will say the way that it's sitting on my bike right now is pretty sweet, because it's like, it's hooked up, but it's not interfering with any of my turning. It's not in my way. I know the camera's there, but I'm not being blocked. It's really a nifty setup, and I'm going, okay, I think all my years working with RAM-mounted products, and this is a total unsolicited shout out here, but I've used nothing but RAM mounts for years. I've used them as far back as my previous motorcycle to Eleanor, Irene, my 2005 SV650. I've used RAM mounts for years. It's an American company. They make good stuff. And it's a very simple mounting system that I've really had very few issues with. So, and if you look at the cockpit on Eleanor, on my left side by the handlebars, I have 3 balls that are available for mounting any object, any RAM compatible mount. And then on my right, I have 2. And they're just there. Like, it just does the job. I don't have any issues with making sure that I have a device. And then there's a RAM ball adapter. It's an aftermarket one, unfortunately. Well, it does the job, actually. It was pretty cheap anyway. But it's a RAM ball adapter that goes to the frame of my GoPro camera, which allows me to mount the GoPro onto a standard RAM ball mount and arm. So quite nice, and that's basically what you're watching right now. So all in all, asking, how much does it cost to set up a rig like this? Well, let's see here. If we start with the actual the camera itself, the GoPro Hero, that's going to be however much you want to spend. So this particular adapter, if you have a GoPro Hero 4 or previous, there's a different mic adapter, and there's several aftermarket options. But once you go to a GoPro 5 Black, you don't have much of an option. So if you use a Hero 5 Session, a Hero 5 Black, Hero 6, they use the proprietary GoPro microphone adapter. You're looking at about $50 for this thing. That's probably going to be the most expensive thing you have outside of the camera. I use a USB-C charger, which is going to vary in price depending on what you have. I have a dedicated USB-C power line attached to the built-in 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter underneath the utility tray in my bike. So I have onboard power, and so that cord's going to cost you about $10 to $15 depending on the quality. I have a heavy-duty braided one because this thing gets used every day. And then the lavalier mic that I'm using, and if it passes the test, I will highly recommend it, cost me about $13. The RAM ball arm itself is about 15 to 17. This is a long one. If you use a standard, depending on like the configuration of your bike, you may not need the long reach arm, which is 6 inches. You can go with a regular, which is 4, and that's going to run you about $9. And then whatever appropriate motorcycle mount you have for the bike itself. If you're using one that works on the master cylinder, if you're using a threaded ball that goes into an empty mirror mount hole, there's a couple options you have. You're not really limited to anything. And obviously this doesn't just work on motorcycles. If I could mount this on my bicycle if I felt like it. I could mount this on a helmet. This is there's so many ways that you can make this happen, but I think the part that makes it so exciting is that I have potentially an opportunity to do more motorcycle vlogs, or just even just talking about life while I'm on a motorcycle, because really, when as a motorcyclist and just kind of doing the ride every single day, you think about a lot of things, and sometimes new things come about because of the flow of thought and just what you're kind of trying to discuss through. And you know, I hope not to make, you know, any future video logs to be, you know, super weird and personal, but at the same time, some things just come up, and, you know, for those who've been, you know, watching me, you know, do these types of video logs since last year, you know, there's a lot of things that just happen, and you just kind of tell it like it is, and, you know, the truth is stranger than fiction. So where I am now is I've arrived in Buena Park, and, you know, I will say this, depending on where I want this vlog to go and where it's going to get published, I will be cutting transmission off as I'm approaching my final destination, so that I don't have to disclose completely, you know, where exactly, you know, my place of employment is. A lot of you guys know where it is, but this is just more for, you know, since I don't know where this video is going to go, I'm just going to have to cut it, you know, where it is. But as you can see here, this is Beach Boulevard. This is the Buena Park side of Beach Boulevard. And if you go on Google, Beach Boulevard is a very long street. It's actually a California highway. But I'm on the part of this California highway that goes into northern Orange County. I'm a cross-county hopper here. And, you know, you guys have been in for a treat. This has been a surprisingly light day. There have been some days where I'm doing some severe lane-splitting gymnastics, and this has not been it. I think I've only ended up lane-splitting like once this entire ride. So it has been a very smooth day in the neighborhood. I will take that, because sometimes you just need a break. I know that lane-splitting is a great privilege to have here in the state of California, but sometimes you just really don't want to be doing that kind of stuff while you're just trying to get to work and chill. Now, of course, the next question is, you know, can I do this while I lane split? The answer is yes, because usually I'm ending up like doing the equivalent of singing in the shower while I'm going in between cars on the freeway. So yes, there will be commentary as I lane split, and cursing and swearing as it's appropriate, depending on how stupid people decide to be. Yeah, but there is that. But yeah, so far it's just been pretty calm. I'm not even trying. I'm going to be at work on time, as I normally am, and it is really smooth today. I'm taking it. So normally, if I really, really wanted to, I could stop at 85 Degrees Cafe and go get myself a coffee, but I'm just not really in the mood for it right now. Had coffee yesterday, had green tea yesterday, trying to stay awake. But you know, for today though, if anyone is interested, I'm going to be videotaping a basketball game in Lawndale High School tonight, and that's my big to do of the evening. Don't really have much else going on. For all of you guys who still play Pokemon Go, I got a hot tip that Columbia Park off of 190th and Prairie is a Whalmer nest. So if you're interested in catching a bunch of Whalmer and walking around Columbia Park, I'm going to test that theory as soon as I get out of work, and I will let you know if it is indeed a Whalmer nest, or if I forget, you know, just ask politely. So made it to the Buena Park La Mirada line. So this is a very odd intersection, and one where here at Beach and Malvern, if you see it on the camera, the cell phone reception here is very off, and depending on what side of the street you're on, you're going to get really choppy reception on your phone. I don't know if it's the building or the fact that we're straddling two counties, or just the way the towers are located. There's really no explanation for it. But yeah, this particular intersection that I'm sitting at right now, waiting for the light to turn green, is a and I'm just going to sneak in over here since I get some room to fit. If it fits, I sit. There we go. So that's weird, but yeah, this portion of Beach Boulevard intersects both LA and Orange County. Where I'm about to turn after this next couple lights is basically the actual border between LA and Orange County in a very odd way. So I'm currently in Buena Park right now. As soon as I turn onto what they call Rosecrans Avenue, which Rosecrans Avenue is a very long street because Rosecrans Avenue stretches all the way back to my house 30 miles away. Yeah, it's that Rosecrans Avenue. Not even kidding. So, you know, so just for a minute there, I'm kind of just touching on the LA County again, and then back in OC. And as I make this turn, leaving Buena Park, entering Fullerton, so, yeah, this particular site that I'm at is straddling the border. And then the other site that I work at is on the opposite side of town. Go figure, you had to give me opposites attract, right? I get the happy dichotomy between two sites. At least this is my chill school, and I can just kind of relax and fix broken iPads instead of having to deal with the library that's gone insane at times. And here we go. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off now. We'll check y'all later. Hopefully you enjoyed my broadcast and you can actually see what I was doing or hear it. And I'm looking forward to your comments, and yeah, we'll just go from there. Check y'all later here as Fullerton approaches. And be kind, rewind. Don't get into too much trouble. Be good, all that fun stuff. Later.